I asked Mr. Trudeau what were the issues that set him and Mr. Johnson apart.
Well, I wouldn't say the issues set us apart. I was trying to find out if his position did set us apart. I must say I haven't found out. But I was trying to discover and perhaps make Mr. Johnson say what his unstated major premises are when he talks about the Constitution. As you saw, I was trying to find out what equality means in his phrase equality or independence, because I feel that as a French Canadian in Ottawa, and from what I've seen of the other Canadians around, they are prepared to recognize equality in a certain sense. Surely the positions taken by the majority of the provincial premiers saying what they would do in terms of recognition of linguistic rights in their provinces, putting French in their provinces more or less on an equal basis of that of English in the Quebec province. This is my conception of equality, and this is something, as a federal member of Parliament, that I am prepared to fight for. And I was trying to find out if this is what the equality meant when it's used in the Quebec brief, or did it mean something more? Did it mean equality in this sense, plus special powers to Quebec? So, I wouldn't say that there was a difference of opinion, in the sense that I'm not quite sure what the Quebec delegation wants. I'm not quite sure that they know what they want either. Or perhaps they are only playing a game. Perhaps it's a very subtle and sophisticated game, you know, of being a moving target. This is part of the strategy too. But surely it's our counter-strategy to know what changes they want before beginning to say, okay, we will agree to them.
Well, given these positions and these uncertainties, is there an area of reconciliation between you and Mr. Johnson?
Yes, I think the area of reconciliation is the extension of the notion of equality to the French language. On this, I think most French Canadians would agree, no matter what their party. Beyond this, I think perhaps we will have to, at some point, take it to the people. Perhaps the French Canadians themselves will have to be asked what equality they want. If one government says one thing at the provincial level and the other government says another thing at the federal level, we will have to ask the people. But even then, in asking the people, we must spell it out. We must say, this is the equality that we are fighting for, and Mr. Johnson will have to say, this is a different kind of equality that I am fighting for. And then the people will choose. And of course the other provinces will choose too. Do they want to have a federal form of government, a constitution in which my kind of equality will be entrenched? And if so, I will agree. I will sit down and write a new constitution with them. Or do they prefer the kind of equality that Mr. Johnson would spell out if he gets around to spelling one out? And if so, let them negotiate on that basis. But we have to know, you know, we've been talking about a new constitution in this country for half a dozen years, and still we're not quite sure what people want to put into it. That's why the federal government itself was reluctant to start constitutional conferences too soon, because it was obvious from the statements of the provincial premiers, first Lesage and now Johnson, that they weren't prepared to spell out precisely what they wanted.